Well, hey everybody, it's Sandy and welcome back to my channel dedicated to helping you advocate for your own health one topic at a time. So guys, today I want to talk about a mask review. It's going to be the Enro mask, and if you want to see my full review, just keep watching. So I got a lot of inquiries, not only in the comments section of some of my videos here on YouTube, but also in the Sandy's DIY Health Advocacy Facebook group. And people were asking whether I would please review the Enro mask. I think there's a lot of interest in this because it claims to be very, very lightweight and breathable. And, so let's get started. So I'm going to link down below in the description box a link to Enro's website where you can purchase their masks. They come in huge array of colors and patterns. They also come in a lot of different sizes, and they have a pretty detailed size chart on there. The masks come in individual Ziploc bags, so this is one mask, and it says, "You can breathe now. The perfect mask is here." So they pride themselves on having this very lightweight, breathable product. It says ultralight fabric, superior filtration. I'm going to talk about that in a little while. It says 0.1 micron particle size, and it says machine washable. The masks retail for $16.50 a piece. Now, they do have a one-time coupon code. It's one of those things where you submit your email address and then they email you a code so you can get one mask for $10. So I went ahead and did that. So I got this mask for $10. And then I did pay shipping and handling $5 for that. So like 50% of the mask. Now, the shipping and handling is free over $35. Now, I've said this before about another product. I can't recall offhand which one it was. I think it's really dumb to structure your shipping in such a way that if people buy any multiples of your product, they just miss that free shipping. To say free shipping over $35 when each mask is $16.50. So two masks, you're at $33, right? And now you're like $2 away from free shipping. So you have to, if you wanted to take advantage of free shipping, you're spending a whole other $16.50. Well, $14.50. It really would be the same thing if they said it's free shipping over $45, right? Because then if you were buying 3 masks anyway, it'd be $48. And if you were only buying 2 masks, you wouldn't feel like you just missed something. Anyway, so I did pay $5 shipping and handling because this was well under $35. It was pretty quick. I ordered it one day. The next day I got an email that it had shipped, and 5 days later it was here. So it was a total of 6 days from ordering to receiving. Now, this is a 3-layer mask. It claims to meet all of my criteria. It says it has a water-repellent outside fabric, a polypropylene or filter middle fabric, and it says the inner fabric is a cotton, which would be moisture wicking. It also says that outer and inner, not the middle, but the outer and inner fabrics are both treated with Silvadur, which is supposed to make this mask antimicrobial. Silvadur is a product made by DuPont. It uses silver, as you would imagine from the name, and it's a finishing product. So from what I can gather, it's a liquid that's applied to the fabric. The instructions say that this can be washed up to 100 times and still have the benefit of the Silvadur working on the fabric. Now, this is one of those things where we have different washing instructions. So when I read the website and was deciding whether to purchase this, it said wash on regular, tumble dry regular. But sure enough, now I get the package. And it says machine washable, but it says warm, 100 degrees, but it says delicate wash cycle. It says do not bleach. It does say tumble dry low, and that's what it said on the website too. So that's interesting, a tumble dry mask that's treated with an antimicrobial fabric. It says do not iron and do not dry clean. In addition to that, it says do not spray with rubbing alcohol, as it will break down that Silvadur more quickly. The masks come in various sizes, and there's a pretty detailed size chart on the website. Now, I ended up in between sizes because they tell you to measure a couple of different things. You're supposed to measure from the bridge of your nose to the tip of your nose. That's one measurement, and then you plug that into a chart and see where you land. And I landed on small. But then you're supposed to measure from the tip of your nose down to under your chin. And on that chart, I measured in the medium. So I went ahead and bought a medium. And for those of you who aren't familiar with my channel, I did do a video a while back where I talked just in general about these filters. Masks are not respirators, so they're not sealed. So I don't have any doubt that the polypropylene layer in here in a lab will filter particle sizes down to 0.1 microns or 95% of them, because some will get through. And that's what they claim, but I take that with a bit of a grain of salt, because in the real world, a mask, being that it's not sealed like a respirator, a mask has some room for leak. You'd really have to have this like fastened, taped down all the way around to know that you were likely getting 95% of particle at that size filtered out. So that said, it's fine. I don't have any quarrel with it, but I just think it's important to understand that these particle size filtrations don't work in the real world the way you would think they do. So I'm going to link a video where I discuss that in more detail right here. Now they only come in the ear loop design, and the ear loops are soft, but now they're like this round cord. So they're not like flat pieces of elastic. There is some stretch to them. I personally usually prefer something like that. I think a flat piece of elastic, depending on the fabric, sometimes can get a little more irritating. They do have these cord adjusters, and they're really soft. These are like that jelly. They're not hard plastic, and you just pull through. Now, as usual, I have my mask adjusted so that the ear adjuster is way down here because I don't like it on that bone behind my ear. So yeah, I got the medium. See if I can show you that. It is a super thin mask, and it almost looks like it has perforations on it. They say that's nothing to worry about. I don't really understand what that means. I've said before I don't worry too much about what I can see and light coming through, but in this case, I can see a lot more light coming through at the top here. Like I can see right here is where that middle layer starts, that polypropylene filter layer. Yeah, so it looks like the polypropylene layer that starts right here. There's actually a seam right there. So it looks like it's actually sewn onto the inner layer of the mask, but it's not sewn to the outer layer. That's interesting. Now it does have a nose piece, and it has this, nice sewn kind of a structured bridge, and that will probably keep it away a little bit. It doesn't tuck like with any kind of puckering, but it does have this piece that fits down under the chin, and it keeps that contour. So I think a lot of people really like that. So I went with this kind of tie-dyed, like blue-gray color. It's white on the inside, which again, I'm not crazy about white on the inside because it just gets stained, but let me go ahead and put it on for you guys. So it does have a decent sized nose piece. It's not really generous in terms of how far out it comes. It's not like that newer Synovia or the DNA mask, but it ends about right here, which is not quite to the outer corner of my eye, but past my iris. So it does allow me to tuck it, shape it pretty well, but I can't totally get the contour out from the outside of the cheekbone. I do feel it suck in and out a little bit, not as much as I have with some other masks. That's probably a function of its fit. You can only get so precise a fit with ear loops. Also, this part being tucked but not puckered. So you can see it come, that was a deep breath. You can see it come in and out. So that tells me that I'm probably breathing a lot of what I breathe through this filter, at least when I take big deep breaths. When I breathe more normally, there's a lot less movement. Now, I know some people like that because they don't like when the mask sort of comes in. But I actually like it because it's a good sign that I'm inhaling and exhaling and exchanging through that polypropylene. In this case, I'm not sure. I suspect there's a little leak. We're going to find out when I put the glasses on. I also feel a lot coming up, especially on this eye. Let's go ahead and put my safety goggles on. I'm going to get this like as precise as I can. Oh, I have a lot of fogging on both eyes. Right. That would be a no-go for me. I would have to tape this if I was going to wear it with my safety goggles, or I would have to wear it with a shield. Yeah, there's a lot of fogging for me. Now, I do find that on a lot of things, people find that I'm right on. But when it comes to the issue of fogging, I'm probably batting 500. So what fogs on me maybe doesn't fog on somebody else, and vice versa. And I think a lot of it has to do with the shape, the weight, the size of your glasses, the contour of your face, and all kinds of really individualized things. So, for me, this isn't going to work because there's just too much fogging with this. I would maybe put on a shield and maybe it would work with that. But that much fogging, I don't think I've seen that in too many masks. And to my mind, that's not only do I not want the fog, so if I wore my shield, I wouldn't have the fog, but that's telling me there's just a lot of leak. I'm breathing a lot from around this mask rather than through that polypropylene filter. So I'm not getting the full benefit of that polypropylene. So I'm not so sure. Very often I find that with these masks that are supposed to be super breathable and they feel really thin, which by the way, this does, it feels lightweight. It doesn't feel tight or, well, that's because it's leaking a lot. So yeah, not in the plus column here. So this is that lanyard style head strap hack that I reviewed a little while back on my channel. I'm going to link the review right here. So I went ahead and got this all adjusted. see what we can do. Let's see. So I still have a fair amount of fogging with this. I mean, enough that I don't think this would work for me. Let me try repositioning this. Don't really see making these any tighter. That's quite a bit better. I'm still getting a lot of fogging though. I mean, I don't know if you guys can see that. It's way too much for me. So I'm just got to conclude that, for me anyway, there's just too much leak with this mask, and I don't really see how to make a hack for it that's any better than this one. So let's just see how it works with some of our water testing and match testing, and then I'm going to talk a little bit more about the antimicrobial activity in this mask. So this is always a challenge for me to get a... Okay, so that looks like it rolls. There's a dot. Let me see if I can make it. Nope, I can't make it sink in. So it is water repellent on the outside. Check. Inside. Does seem to be wicking. That sinks right in. Okay. Now, before I do any crude water testing to see how quickly water sinks through, I think I'll do the match test. Okay, performs well. And really with a mask this thin and light, I'd be very surprised if we don't get this water going through really quickly. But, I hope that there's some slowdown. I don't expect miracles with this. Let's just see what happens. There's 3 whole droppers full of water. Nothing's rolling. Oh, a little bit was rolling. Yeah, actually a lot. It's actually pretty dry on the outside. I'm surprised by that because this, has such a light, flimsy feel. Yeah, it's still very dry on the outside there. Now, eventually I would expect that to go through that polypropylene, but I think that if this is a mask, if you feel like you can get a good enough fit with it, that you're not leaking all over the place like I am. The nice thing about a mask that performs that way with water testing is that you can continue to test that and see if and when that starts breaking down. It gives you a good idea of, how long your mask is really working for you. Okay, so the water resistance is actually pretty impressive on this mask. So one thing that I do want to address with this mask is I did a little digging on the antimicrobial activity. And while they did send me some information on the testing that Silvador has, and it's something like a reduction of 98% of a microbial load, but it's over a 24-hour period. In addition to that, in their frequently asked questions section of their website, they recommend buying 3 of these per person, and they do also recommend washing it each time you wear it. So those things all together, plus the fact that the data on the antimicrobial activity wasn't that impressive compared to other antimicrobials that we've looked at in other face masks, I really don't want to put this on my mask continuum in a hybrid category. I think that Silvador is probably really more aimed at, workout wear, odor control. And it's another one of those things where now there's a pandemic and they can say, oh, antimicrobial. Well, yeah, it's not going to encourage the growth of microbes. It's not going to become a petri dish maybe, but I don't think I would consider this profoundly antimicrobial. I would treat this like a fabric mask. Now, in the fabric mask category, how do I feel about it? Yeah, I mean, I think that if you are really hell-bent on having something super lightweight that's going to offer that kind of water resistance, because by the way, this is still not wet on the outside after I put 3 droppers full. It's very wet on the inside layer. I think that would be fine. I do think with this one, you're going to have to, watch the fit. For me, I know there's just too much leak. So even though the water doesn't go through and supposedly 95% of microbes that are larger than 0.1 micron particle size are not going to get through. In my case, they are because there's just a lot of leak from around the mask. So I don't think this one will work for me. I can say that I'm pretty impressed with the water repellent nature of the mask. I think that would be an excellent way to test the integrity of the mask going forward so you know how well it's working for you. I, though, will double down and say that I would not treat this as an antimicrobial mask at all. I won't consider this a hybrid mask because that testing just doesn't stand up to the kind of testing I see on other hybrid masks or highly antimicrobial fabric masks that I've reviewed on this channel before. You know, those masks will eradicate like 99% of microbial load in anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours, depending on which mask we're talking about. They don't have to be washed every time because that antimicrobial activity is just so profound. This is just kind of an added, I would consider this like odor protection. Maybe it's not going to encourage microbial growth. I consider this a fabric mask. So if I'm going to put this on the continuum with my other fabric masks, which are the DNA mask and the Starks masks. By the way, I don't know if you guys know, but consumerlabs.com finally picked up the Starks mask and reviewed it. You know, I guess in that category, this one has a pretty distant price point from the Starks. It does have a similar price point to the DNA mask, but that mask with the testing that we did on it, that mask is just, in my opinion, it's the Cadillac of fabric masks. So yeah, I wish this was going to work for me because it is a comfy mask. I understand how people like that, but for me it was a no-go. So let me know if any of you guys have already tried this or if you plan to based on this review. And if you do, let me know how you like it and what your experience is like with it. And I hope this was helpful. And until next time, be well. Bye-bye.